I asked Haitians about that, and they said, we don't need more prisons, we need houses. And now, Haiti needs houses, food, schools, and democracy more than ever. There's an extremely important discussion we have to have about the role of NGOs in Haiti and why Haiti is a republic of NGOs. And we have to look to alternative models like the Cuban doctors or Partners in Health who have stayed in Haiti long term and who train Haitian doctors and health workers. But we also, as Canadians, really have to be aware of the huge role Canada is playing in Haiti's political life. And over the next coming weeks, you're going to hear about on the news about Haitians protesting in the streets, as they're doing now and they're going to be doing increasingly, about new elections scheduled in the upcoming months. And don't consider that a hands-off issue that's of interest or not. That they are protesting against Canadian policies. It's going to be Canada paying for those elections, and those elections are almost definitely going to exclude the party that Haitians want to vote for. I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
One possibility for social change is to participate on nowpolling.ca. Your opinion is the essence of social change, self-governance, or direct democracy. Nowpolling.ca is here to register it, publish it, and count it, so we can be clear about our collective will, and the results of the poll will be a potential tool to demand what you envision as social change.
About what Canada is doing in Afghanistan as far as torture is concerned. We don't know the details of what Canada is doing because Stephen Harper and members of Stephen Harper's government and the military leaders have been lying and prevaricating about that issue. We do know, for instance, that Canada has actually participated in torture. We know they participated in the torture of a child, a Canadian child actually, who was taken captive by the Americans in Afghanistan and then transferred forcibly to Guantanamo Bay, where he remains for the past 8 years. And we know that the Canadian officials participated in the actual torture of Omar Khadr. And how do we know that? We know that because the Federal Court of Canada, the Federal Court of Appeal, and the Supreme Court of Canada told us that they did. And nothing has been done about it. Okay. We also know people taken captive in Afghanistan to the custody of U.S. forces and Afghanistan forces, and we know that they've been transferred to the certainty of ill treatment and to the likelihood of torture. And how do we know that? We know that because the International Committee of the Red Cross, the London Conference on Afghanistan, the Afghanistan Human Rights Commission, the United Nations, all told us that that was happening, that prisoners transferred to the U.S. authorities and to Afghan authorities were likely to be subjected to torture. We also know that people transferred to Afghan and U.S. officials were likely to be subjected to torture because since 2002, Canadian individuals and Canadian organizations such as Lawyers Against the War and Amnesty International have been telling the Canadian government that that is the case, and they've been telling the Canadian government that Canadians are violating the law by transferring prisoners. And yet, the Canadian Prime Minister is still delaying efforts by the Federal Court of Canada and by efforts by the military police Complaints Commission to obtain, and by parliamentarians to obtain copies of the documents. And it's time that we all did something. In the 8 years since Canada's been in Afghanistan, the evidence is overwhelming that Canada's military aggression has caused irremediable harm to the people of Afghanistan, the environment, the culture, and the economy. Every single quality of life indicator has worsened since Canada has been in Afghanistan. As Derek said, the life expectancy has plummeted, as has the adult literacy rate. The death under 5 rate has plummeted to such a terrible level that Save the Children Fund says that children born in Afghanistan have a smaller chance of survival than children born anywhere else in the world. When Afghanistan was invaded in 2001, the Afghanistan economy collapsed and it has never recovered. Malnutrition is rampant. If you want to see, although I don't suggest you do, what Afghan children suffering from malnutrition look like, just go on the Save the Children website. And all of these things have happened because of Canada's military aggression, the military aggression of NATO and the US. And so I'm here today to ask you to join with people of Afghanistan who have more and more frequently gathered in the streets to say foreign troops out of Afghanistan, to make our voices heard. Don't leave our children and our grandchildren with a legacy of saying that we just nodded and smiled and turned the other way and said somebody will take care of it. An American law professor has called NATO's killing of people, Canada's killing of people, and the US's killing of people in Afghanistan genocide. And I agree with him. So thank you for being here today. Make time in your week, make time every week to write a letter, talk to a neighbor, friend, workmate, your member of parliament, write letters, make phone calls, insist on meetings, do something today. It's the very, very least that people in Afghanistan and the victims of the 8 years of military aggression in Afghanistan can expect from us. It's only after all the troops are out that then we can rationally assess what possible contribution we could make to remedying some of the terrible loss and destruction that we have helped to cause in Afghanistan. Thank you.
Now is your turn to support military violence or negotiating peace. Now Polling.ca is a potential tool to bring about that social change you want. It's up to you to participate in the building of a better world. And remember, the choice is in your hands. Your participation is the essence of direct democracy.
Seguiremos adelante, como junto a ti seguimos y confidente decimos hasta siempre.